With government deregulation and laws being changed state by state year over year about the legal uses of marijuana, it has really been downplayed on what of danger it can be to young men. I don't necessarily mean this in a health perspective. When it comes to inhaling any toxins, of course it is bad for you. And the altering of the brain over prolonged periods of time, and especially starting at a young age, is of course a factor. But I'm talking about the long-term uses and how this changes your mindset more than anything that can actually be calculated by science. Back when I was younger and in middle school, we had a program come in talking about how marijuana is the gateway drug. And you know, a lot of people, I think, just pushed this to the side, didn't listen to these speakers. And I found them very compelling because why would these people who had horrible lives, starting with drugs and abuse issues, be coming to a school of kids and try and have us learn from them? Well, it's because they don't want us to go through the same thing, and they know that no matter how much they try and express it, we as kids just don't understand the serious risks at that young age. I am so glad and grateful that I was made aware of this all. And I really take for the learning. I am a person who completely tries to learn through others, and so I don't have to go through hardship myself. And I honestly have really gone through very little hardship in my life, I think mainly due to that trait of myself that I've worked on, is really listen to what people have to say, because their wisdom trumps mine. They were in a much worse situation or a completely different situation that will eventually help me out if I listen to them and what they have to say. So, you know, these people would come in the schools and we'd have the assembly. And guess what? In that very room were many kids, 7th, 8th graders, maybe even some 6th graders, that were actively smoking cigarettes. Vapes were just getting on the market like crazy. Alcohol was actually prevalent, as well as, of course, weed, which is crazy. When I look at 7th graders now and knowing the people that were doing that at that time is very, very concerning. It is really nice that they increased the age to 21 for nicotine products, but weed is still a commodity that people somehow get into middle schools. Either way, I do agree with that it is a gateway drug and it can lead to much worse things. But I want to talk about the laziness factor, the money factor, just the whole charade of what smoking weed does to you. Dab pens, you know, sneaking those in, having them at work. I mean, is this really how you want to live your life? You really want to rely on this stupid vape thing that gets you high so you can get through your day? Maybe you should try and work on your day. Like, doesn't that make more sense than to cope and constantly cope like a little baby and have your, what do they call that? Sucky thing? The pacifier? You need your little dab pen to be a pacifier for you, you big grown man? No, don't be relying on these crutch things. Instead, work on yourself so you don't have to get stoned at night every day. That's ridiculous. Same thing goes for drinking, of course. You know, a product that supposedly dulls your pain for 2 hours. I don't even think that's true. I just think people psychologically trick themselves into thinking that they're forgetting things when they're really not. I mean, I've got drunk before. My mind is the same. I mean, obviously I'm affected by the alcohol or I have smoked weed, but my mindset is pretty much the exact same of how I think. And, you know, when I smoke weed, I get even more antsy to start organizing my room and vacuuming and cleaning and, you know, because I get hyper focused on I'm being lazy by smoking this shit. I want to get something done. That's the mindset you have to have. And this is a gateway drug to laziness and procrastination and, again, blowing your money. I mean, these things are a lot of money if you were to take that and invest it over long periods of time. I mean, if you start at 14, 15, 16 years old, you know, say it's $20 a week, which, you know, that's pretty cheap. when it comes to some stoners and shit. So if you were to take that and invest that, that would be hundreds of thousands of dollars in returns. It's absolutely ridiculous what society in our younger age, Gen Zs and stuff, have taken weed to just not be serious. And everyone seems to smoke it, no big deal. You should be ashamed of yourself if you have to smoke weed as a guy. For real. It's completely, absolutely irrelevant to success. I can see it maybe if you're going on a camping trip with the damn boys or something. I understand. You know, I'm not completely against weed in my life because I never use it. So if I were to want to use it one day, there would be an actual reason behind it. But I haven't smoked since I was probably 17, 23 now, maybe earlier. I don't remember the exact time, but I didn't even really want to do it then. And again, I just started like organizing my room because it was so obnoxious to be high. I just wanted it to be over with. That shit is also pissing me off. Like when I want to do something, if I want to chill out, I can just chill out now. Or if I want to drive, to go somewhere, I can just do that right now. But when you're high or you're drunk, these things are kind of limited. Your mental space is limited and you don't have full clarity of all your actions. And as a guy, you need to be in full responsibility of your actions. You can't just say, oh, I was drunk the other night, so yeah, that's why I hooked up with that girl and, oops, might have got her pregnant and now my whole entire life is on to a completely separate course because I'm a cuck and I don't know how to rule my life. Don't mind my judgment here, but it's completely true. If you're doing irresponsible things by being irresponsibly on weed or drunk, you're being a loser in that moment. You may not be fully a loser, but in that moment, you 100% are. Do I have my times that I do that? No, not in my adult life. I've gone through it when I was younger, 14 to 16, and I was so over it. I was like, I just want to do my own shit, and that's okay. I'm all right with getting a drink or two. Do I do it? Not really. Again, and would it be okay to smoke a little weed on a camping trip? No. Do I do it? No, because it's no real benefit to your life. And then people try and group you in to somehow be a part of the group and smoking or drinking. It's a complete facade of what being a friend is. Like, do you really want your little brother to be smoking weed? Do you want your little sister to be drunk as fuck? No. So why would you want your friend to be drunk and be smoking weed? It's irresponsible and it's stupid. Don't know why anyone even thinks of this. It's a huge problem. I mean, almost every single person drinks, smokes weed, or smokes nicotine and shit. And again, of course, I've done all these things. And there are times where I may have it, but it's absolutely not a part of my life. And I think it's completely so ridiculous how we have all treated weed as this medicinal, great thing to add in your life. Oh, people with anxiety. Anxiety doesn't exist. It only exists because you're not doing enough in your life that you have to think about the future so damn much. Actually, if you made action, then you wouldn't have all this anxiety because you'd just be doing the right thing. If you have anxiety, it means that you suck at doing something, whether that be telling the truth to someone you know that you're having anxiety about talking to them. Just do it and it'll be over with. Anxiety about, oh, my finances, will get your shit in order. Like, for real. Like, I'm being as blunt as possible in this video because this is what I believe in the core. Of course, I do have empathy with people when I am with them. And at the end of the day, there's always a process to get there. I'm not saying I'm perfect, for sure. But the anxiety that I have in my life is like once a year. Like the last time I had it, it was going down and meeting, the people at Arizona most recently and doing a video. I mean, I had anxiety because I never did a video like this before. And again, going down there to Arizona headquarters, for me, it's a big deal. So there's anxiety. But what did we not do? We didn't cancel the trip because I have anxiety, or oh, I gotta smoke some weed or a cigarette. I have anxiety. No, we just did it. And the anxiety went over like that once we got going. Apart from that, there's no anxiety in my life. There's no depression either because I'm not smoking weed to get to a better state of mind. I'm not getting drunk to feel happy. Haha, it's St. Patrick's Day today. Let's get drunk. Let's be happy because we're not happy in our daily lives. Daily life is about just pushing forward to the next day and excited for drinking that cup of water when you wake up. It's not about going to Florida and doing crazy gambling and winning big. It's not about that. It's about doing just consistent things that keep you going every day. Come on. And weed and drinking, it's just completely against any type of momentum that you can get in this world. Maybe if you're successful enough, smoking weed's fine, but I really do think everyone would benefit over not being consistently on this shit. Like, that's the main problem, is just being consistently on it for days and days and days and never really being sober. Being sober in the mind makes you think a lot more clearly. It really does. I know that for sure. Anyone who thinks otherwise, you have to be kidding yourself, for real. If you disagree with me, you let me know an actual valid reason why weed is beneficial, apart from an actual physical ailment someone's going through, like cancer. Like seriously, if you're just like healthy physically, and even if you're unhealthy mentally, smoking weed isn't going to help you because it's just a coping mechanism. If you're mentally unhealthy, you need to be completely sober, not on any drugs, and focus on what actually can fix that problem. Because if you just use a prescribed drug or weed, you know what that's going to do. That's going to just completely negate the problem, and it's going to fix it temporarily. You're always going to be crutched on that, which is okay, I guess, if you need to get to a certain level in other areas. But you're always going to have to come back and fix that later down the line. And usually for people, it is more difficult the years that go on of pushing issues to the side and, either coping with drugs, coping with another type of mechanism. And unfortunately, that happens a lot, and it's more difficult and more difficult as time goes on. And you're also just not being truthful enough with yourself because you start realizing that, hey, that's a part of me. I have this problem, I have this disease, I have this disorder, I am treated for it, or I have my coping mechanisms, and that's me for the rest of my life. I completely disagree with that. I don't think anyone should really be diagnosed with anything when it comes to for the rest of your life. Yeah, you can be diagnosed for bipolar disorder or depression for a period, but there's no way that you can be stuck with that for the rest of your life. I disagree. There's no way. Absolutely not. If you're mentally sane enough to make certain decisions, you don't have a mental handicap, I do understand there's serious cases, but not 1 in 4 people have serious cases. You can't just be blaming it. There are serious, psychological differences. I fully understand. But most people just have small differences that we all have. I have mine. I don't have them diagnosed, but you have yours. And all those differences make us unique, of course. But that's the struggle of our internal mind. And that struggle is something that we need to work on every day and not push it further down the line to be solved by some inadequate solution that's going to just keep propelling and becoming an issue. So finding that permanency is something that weed will not get you at all. And it's absolutely a gateway drug to procrastination, being lazy, and not working on your mental state and increasing your higher value of yourself. Does someone who smokes weed all the time have a higher confidence level than someone who doesn't? Probably not. Do they have worse actual lung health and brain function? Probably. Do they have worse tendencies when it comes to financial spending? Probably. Are they more likely to be lazy? Most likely. Do they smell worse? Does their apartment reek? Yeah, it definitely does. So what the hell is the benefit? You get to just chill, relax. If you need that shit to go to sleep, you need to be not going to sleep for multiple days so you can actually get a regular sleep schedule for real. Because again, temporary solutions are not a good long-term plan. Well, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more videos coming up about men's issues and taking control of our lives, because that's what this whole channel is about, is taking control of what we can and all those factors that we can't, and just embrace them. And weed is one thing that is in the damn way, that's for sure. So push that to the side. Comment down below what you'd like to see next. Thank you all so much for watching.